In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 3rd, 2022. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. South Dakota State versus Iowa. Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City will host a Week 1 matchup between the South Dakota State Jackrabbits and the Iowa Hawkeyes. South Dakota State comes into the 2022 season after a stellar 11-4 campaign a year ago that came to an end following a 14-point loss to Montana State in the FCS Championship semifinals. Offensively, South Dakota State played well, totaling 439 yards of offense to score 17 total points, but failed to score in the second half after turning the ball over 2 times. The South Dakota State Jackrabbits come into the 2022 season looking to add on their success from the 2021 campaign, where the Jackrabbits went 8-3 in the regular season, earning a spot in the FCS playoffs. The Jackrabbits took down UC Davis, Sacramento State, and Villanova before falling to runner-up Montana State in the FCS semifinals. The bad news for South Dakota State is that they have to replace 2 of their best players in Chris Oladogun, a quarterback that got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as Pierre Strong Jr., running back for the New England Patriots. The good news is that they get back Mark Gronowski from injury at QB, who missed the entire 2021 season. In 2020 to 2021, Gronowski threw for 1,565 yards, 15 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions, while also rushing for 577 yards and 7 scores. The receiving core is in good shape for Gronowski, with Jackson and Jadon Jankback as his top receiving partners, with Jackson logging a team-high 72 grabs for 1,176 yards and 5 touchdowns, while Jadon had a team-high 9 receiving scores as well as 41 catches for 655 yards last year. The running backs will appear to be Isaiah Davis and Amber Johnson, who both took touches in relief of Strong last season. On defense, Caleb Sanders and Reese Winkelman lead the Jackrabbits front line, while Adam Bach is back to anchor the Jackrabbits defense at linebacker after logging 125 tackles last season alongside Isaiah Stalbert and Graham Spalding. Dolly's Beanham, Dyshawn Glales, and Malik Lofton headline the group of corners, while Cal Reeder is back after logging 65 tackles at safety last season. The Iowa Hawkeyes will be out to build on a fairly successful 2021 season that saw the Hawkeyes finish the year at 10-4, including a 7-2 mark in Big Ten Conference play, and ended with a thud with a 42-3 loss to Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. The Hawkeyes were invited to the Citrus Bowl, a game they lost to Kentucky by a final count of 20-17, losing a bowl game for the first time since 2016. QB is a murky situation for the Hawkeyes, with Spencer Petras back in the fold, and Alex Padilla is an option as well, but he has to hit more than half of his passes, which isn't something we could say last season. The Hawkeyes will need to replace Tyler Goodson at running back after his 11-0+ yard season last year, but Gavin Williams has experience after rushing for 305 yards last season and is in a good spot to keep the chain moving. The receiving core can be a mess too, as their top pass catcher is back in Sam Laporta, but their top pass catcher is also their top tight end. The Hawkeyes do return Jegan Johnson, who is a big play threat, and Nico Ragaini, who has a lot of experience for the Hawkeyes, but their top return man and one of their best receivers in Charlie Jones hit the transfer portal. The good news after all of this is that the defense is in a position to be really good again. After leading the nation in interceptions last year with 25, and the Hawkeyes have one of the best secondary playmakers in the country in Riley Moss, who missed a good chunk of last season because of injury. Lucas Van Ness and Joe Evans teamed up for 14 sacks, while Jack Campbell is back at linebacker after posting 143 tackles last season, and Seth Benson added 105 tackles last year at another linebacker spot. South Dakota State is 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 non-conference games and 9-3 against the spread in their last 12 games overall, while the over is 8-1 in their last 9 non-conference games. Iowa is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games in September and 2-5-1 against the spread in their last 8 games overall, while the under is 4-0 in their last 4 non-conference games. South Dakota State is not an ideal first opponent for Iowa, as this is an FCS powerhouse year after year. and the Jackrabbits continue to reload despite losing 2 of their best guys to the NFL. I get why Iowa's favored here, but I don't necessarily love the talent that the Iowa offense is carrying over, especially at QB, as I've never been a Spencer Petras fan. I believe that South Dakota State keeps a lot closer than a lot of folks would think here, so the South Dakota State to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Jackrabbits were lethal offensively in 2021, but they will have to replace quarterback Chris Oladogun and running back Pierre Strong Jr., who were both drafted this past spring. Facing an Iowa defense that ranked 15th against the run a season ago and allowed just over 19 points per game isn't a great starting point for that. Fortunately for South Dakota State, it returns linebacker Adam Bach, a second-team preseason All-FCS selection, to a defense that should once again be quite menacing. Given the Hawkeyes' underwhelming offense, it's no surprise that the total went under in all 4 of their September games last season. They didn't quite end the year well either, combining for just 20 points between the Big Ten Championship and the Citrus Bowl. This game should be ugly, and it's hard to imagine a scenario in which either team reaches 25-plus points. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Buffalo versus Maryland. The Maryland Terrapins look to have a strong straight winning season. They open up with Buffalo at home on Saturday from College Park. The Bulls struggled at the end of last season when they lost 4 straight to end the 2021 campaign. Second-year coach Morris Linguist returns just 3 starters on offense, but the hope is that Rutgers transfer Cole Snyder can lift the team back to their winning ways. Maryland returns 16 starters, including Talia Tagovailoa and one of the best wide receiving core in the Big Ten. Maryland brings more firepower to this game, but I look for an improved and stout Buffalo defense to keep this game close. Buffalo's explosive secondary should be able to get a key turnover and put the offense in scoring opportunities. QB Matt Myers will be able to use his legs to pick up key first downs against a shaky Terps defense and will keep the chain moving. This will allow Buffalo to keep Tagovailoa on the sideline as much as possible, so the Buffalo Bulls to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Damon Williams and James Patterson will stop the run, forcing teams to try to air it out. Buffalo's transfer corners Elijah Blades from Florida and Caleb Offord from Notre Dame will make teams pay by making plays on the back end. Maryland will be looking for big plays through the air and will be tested early. Tagovailoa will look to continue the success he experienced last year and put points on the board. The key to this game will be the turnover battle and red zone performance. If Buffalo can hold Maryland to field goals, the score should remain close throughout. Early in the season, I look for Buffalo to keep scores low, leaning on their defense. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Colorado State versus Michigan. Colorado State will try to pull off the upset of the season when it travels to number 8 Michigan in Week 1 for Saturday afternoon's game. The Rams are playing under first-year head coach Jay Norvell, who took over following the firing of Steve Addazio. Michigan will be looking to build on its first Big Ten title since 2004 and its college football playoff appearance. Michigan comes in with a lot of new faces at key positions on defense. The Wolverines lost their 2 best defensive players from last year in Ojabo and Hutchinson, and Hutchinson was the best defensive player to come out of Michigan under Harbaugh. Young players in the secondary often have a bigger learning curve, and Michigan will also be replacing 3 starters in the secondary against a revamped CSU offense that should be ready to hit the ground running. Norvell will be in his first year at CSU, but he's proven himself as one of the top offensive coaches in college football, and the Rams have been very aggressive in using the transfer portal to replace most of the starters from last year. Norvell got Clay Millen to come to CSU with him, and he knows what the young quarterback can do since he recruited him at Nevada. The Rams offense should be able to stay within this number, so the Colorado State to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Rams were able to use the transfer portal to replace most of the team's offense from last year, but CSU will return most starters from last season on a defense that gave up over 28 points a game last year in a weak conference. Michigan is returning most of their key starters on offense from last year, and McNamara will want to have a good showing since he's in a quarterback competition with 5-star recruit J.J. McCarthy. Michigan should be able to score fairly easily in this game. Michigan's defense is replacing key starters on the defensive line and in the secondary, and this unit lost what was by far their two best players on defense from last year. The Wolverines also have a new defensive coaching staff this year as well. Norvell is a good offensive coach and he has his quarterback and a revamped offensive line. Nevada should be able to move the ball as well. Harbaugh wants to get the most game reps possible out of McNamara, which means the Wolverines will likely be taking some deep shots against Colorado State's secondary. It is also going to be difficult for the Rams to slow down Michigan's rushing attack, which features a solid returning back in Corum and a strong offensive line. Colorado State is going to be throwing at a much higher rate following its coaching change. While I don't expect an outright win from Colorado State, this group that came over with Jay Norvell is good and can really make life tough on a rebuilding Michigan defensive unit that's going to take time to become cohesive. I also think Michigan's fully capable of putting up 35.5 if they want to, but I think we get into the 60s at the very least. This is shaping up to be a high-scoring game, especially given the way Harbaugh is treating it. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.